Getting paid as a freelancer the proper way can be really tricky, especially at the start when you really don't know what you are doing, when you are approaching all of these clients, and when the money gets involved into the mix, you really don't know what you do in order to secure that payment and to make sure that you're actually going to get paid on time. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey designer, Alex here, welcome to the channel, and in today's video we are going to talk about how to get properly paid as a freelancer for your work. Now, it's easy to get paid on all of these platforms like, for example, 99 Designs, Upwork, People Per Hour and so on, because those platforms are actually securing your payment until the job is completed and then either releasing you that payment or you can release that payment to yourself by simply clicking some of the buttons. Also, contracts are involved into the mix, and basically whatever client comes through those platforms is basically legally bounded in some way. But what actually happens after you leave those platforms, after you grow as a freelancer and after you start getting more bigger and complex projects which are going to earn you even more money, now that's when the things are going to start to get tricky. Now, they don't need to be tricky because you can easily secure yourself by simply following two rules. Rule number one is the contract. You have to have the contract in place, and if you don't know where to get a contract, simply Google some contract examples. Make sure that you can edit those contracts, because in majority of those templates you can see your name here, for example. Then you can enter your name or your company name and also your client's name. Simply put those names down and simply scan and browse through that contract and see if it's the right contract for you. If it's not, make sure to change some things, because in some of the contracts perhaps they are mentioning logo design work. Maybe you're not doing logo design work, so make sure to change that, because your client is going to think, okay, this guy is a total amateur because we are not doing the logo design work. Perhaps we are doing the web design work, maybe app design work or something like that, and there was no mention of the logo anywhere in our design brief. So just make sure when you're going through all of that contract template to erase all of the things which are not included in your project itself, and simply put back in the things which are included into the contract and into the work itself. Then step number two to get properly paid as a freelancer is to actually get paid. Now, how can you do this? Easily. Simply ask 50% of the money up front before you even turn on your computer. Why? Because that way, if the client is a bad client, if they bail out, if they leave this project, then you simply secured yourself with the 50% up front. Now, it's going to be really difficult for you at the start to ask for this 50% up front. Maybe it's going to be awkward for you, maybe it's going to be really difficult to approach, but trust me, it's the mandatory thing you have to do as a freelancer to secure yourself if the client bails out. Because a lot of the times, especially in the past, I saw all of these different examples from my fellow freelancers right here in my home country and abroad about all of these horror stories from clients not paying them, and they did all of the work and they sent the files in. Please do not do that. Simply ask for 50% upfront because you already signed the contract, client already signed the contract. Then simply ask for 50% upfront because you are going to secure yourself. Now, for the other 50%, once you actually finish the work, client says, okay, this is the final draft, we are no longer going to need any changes, this is the final file, please send me the final file. Before you do, ask for those 50% for the finished work, and then after they pay you, then send them the file in. Because, as I said, you have the contract, so you as a designer are legally bounded to provide them with that file. They as a client are legally bounded to provide you with the payment for that file, so there is no harm feelings there. Simply ask for 50% upfront, then do the work. After you finish the work, then ask for the final payment of 50%, and then project is finished. Make sure to follow these simple rules just to secure yourself as a freelancer, and trust me when I say this, you will no longer have all of those bailing clients, because they provided you with the payment. Now they are going to have to be more vigilant to provide you with the feedback, and because they paid those 50% upfront, trust me when I say this, they are going to provide you with a lot of feedback because they paid for half of the money up front. As for how can you do this, it's simple. If you have a PayPal, you can simply send them the PayPal invoice with a 50% upfront, then 50% at the end. They can pay you directly through that invoice. If you have a bank account, you can do that as well. Some banks have online banking. You can simply fill out the form, send them that form. You can do it through online tools such as FreshBooks. You can create a free account on FreshBooks. You can create that template, send them in. Once they pay you, FreshBooks is going to take the cut from that payment. It's not going to be a major cut for you, and it's not going to be too much money, but they are going to secure you with that complete ecosystem of payment and of invoice and everything. So make sure to follow these two simple rules. So once again, have a contract in place so both parties, so you and your client, can be happy with the result. Make sure to be paid upfront with at least 50%, and then before you send in the final file, because the final file is what the client really needs. They don't need JPEG images because they cannot do too much with JPEG images. They really do need that final file. It's either for print or for web design work, development work, and so on. So they do need that final file. Before you send the final file to the client, make sure to ask for 50% of the money and then complete the entire project. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you found some value in it. If you did, make sure to press that like button. I upload new videos every single week on design, passive income techniques, motivation, and more. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.